Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome back to our channel once again. Today, Linda Mwananchi stormed Nzoia County in style. And what I witnessed in Nzoia, I think I've never witnessed before. I can't imagine how Bungoma will look like tomorrow. Because today the crowd was like 1.5 kilometers away. The entire crowd. That one, if you leave those who are just watching from very far. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to do a critical analysis of today's rally in Nzoia. First of all, let us begin by looking at the reception.
Kama Sifuna amepitia tabu, ule amepata uchungu zaidi ni huyo SHOCKS. Munaona walinitumia majambazi kule Kisumu waniue kwa sababu ya Sifuna. Mimi nataka kusema hivi, hii safari tumeanza, haturudi nyuma.
For me, that reception was intended to send a very strong message. And the message is now loud and very clear.
Munaniona vizuri. Sasa niko na ripoti yenu. Tulia kidogo. Niko na ripoti yenu. Mimi pamoja na hiki kikosi cha Linda Mwananchi tumetembea Kenya mzima. Tumekuwa kule Pwani, kule Mombasa, kule Taita Taveta, na mheshimiwa Mwashako yuko hapa atawaambia. Huko hakuna kura ya kasongo. Tumeenda Kisumu na mheshimiwa Rengo na babu watawaambia hakuna kura ya kasongo katika LUHYA. Tumeenda Umasaini, mmetuona Kajiado, mmetuona Narok, hakuna kura ya kasongo kule. Tumeenda Nakuru, hakuna kura ya kasongo Nakuru. Sasa kasongo akikaa anasema kura yake iko Kitale. Kitale oye! Kitale oye! Nataka mseme yasikie, hapa kuna kura ya kasongo. Pale juu kuna kura ya kasongo. Hapa katikati kuna kura ya kasongo. Hapa kunayo kura ya kasongo. Kitale mnasemaje? Kitale mnasemaje?
Edwin Sifuna has emerged. And Edwin Sifuna is ready for the presidency. And the message was intended for Mudavadi and Wetangula that there is a new sheriff in town in LUHYA politics. As a matter of fact, today marked the beginning of Edwin Sifuna as the next LUHYA king, as the next LUHYA kingpin. The truth is, the crowd was massive. The second thing I want us to look at are the leaders who are present, because that's also significant, particularly the key leaders from the LUHYA nation. Apart from the LUHYA nation, Mwangaza Kawira was present and the husband. And I want to predict that probably the next stop is going to be Meru. If not the next rally, maybe the second after is going to be in Meru. But let us analyze the people who are present from the LUHYA nation. Boni Luale was present for the first time.
Sifuna, let me tell you. My son, let me tell you. Wewe ulikuwa unasoma class moja Musingu High School with my son. Mukasoma na yeye, wewe ukawa wakili, yeye akawa wakili. wakati umeamua unataka kuwa rais, nikasema mimi bullfighter nitakuwa mzazi number 1 wa kusema Sifuna tosha.
If there's one man who took William Ruto to the LUHYA nation was none other than Boni Halwale. As a matter of fact, that's why Boni Halwale was made the Senate Majority Whip. But he fell out with the president. And Boni Halwale went ahead and even formed his party. And in most cases, some of us had assumed that the party which Boni Halwale formed was the one which was going to be handed over to Edwin Sifuna. So the presence of Boni Halwale, who comes from Kakamega, is significant. The second person there is George Natembeya. And you saw how Edwin Sifuna thanked him. The presence of George Natembeya is significant because George Natembeya used to lead the Tawe movement. Tawe movement was taking the LUHYA politics by a storm. But now Edwin Sifuna has emerged. In short, the fact that Natembeya came and joined Sifuna, he was only telling these guys that it's better we accept the reality. And the reality is that a new sheriff in the name of Edwin Sifuna is now in town. Importantly, there was another important leader there, Tim Wanyonyi. Tim Wanyonyi was the member of parliament, or is the member of parliament for Westlands. Tim Wanyonyi should have been the governor for Nairobi if Raila Odinga had allowed him to run. But instead, he was persuaded to go back to Westlands because Nairobi was being negotiated on the table. So the fact that Tim Wanyonyi went back to Bungoma and was in ODM and now officially joined Linda Mwananchi, it tells you that the ground probably in that region is predominantly Linda Mwananchi. Now, if you look at those three figures I've mentioned, and of course, I also saw the majority leader, Kakamega County, who is an ODM member, present there. It tells you that most elected leaders are now opting to join Edwin Sifuna. And I can predict that more are going to defect to Edwin Sifuna's camp, particularly from the LUHYA nation. Now, let us now look at the main objective of that meeting. The meeting today was intended to achieve two main objectives. The first objective was to stamp Edwin Sifuna as the next LUHYA kingpin. And that took place. In fact, tomorrow, they are going to confirm it. But the other objective, which I think was also very clear, was Edwin Sifuna as the presidential candidate. If you listened to Babu Owino, he acknowledged Edwin Sifuna.
Kwa mikono! Leo tumekuja kwenyu hapa nyumbani. Tumeleta kijana wenyu. Tumeleta Sifuna. Sifuna aende wapi? Sifuna aende wapi? Sema State House. Sifuna aende wapi? Sifuna aende wapi? Wewe ni nani? Mimi ni nani? Wale ni nani? Na wao ni nani? Vijana ria! Vijana ria!
If you listened to James Orengo, aliti today, that Sifuna ndio baba. So in the Linda Mwananchi today, the issue of who will be the presidential candidate was done and dusted. Tomorrow, they are going to begin that journey. So Edwin Sifuna is going to be on the ballot. But Edwin Sifuna was also very wise. He tried bringing in the name of the other principals, the other coalition partners. Babu Owino also tried bringing it in, that Edwin Sifuna will have to talk to the others. But sometimes in politics, you have to listen to others. I listened to Otsosi.
Mimi nataka kusema hivi, hii safari tumeanza, haturudi nyuma. Na mimi nataka kusema, Mheshimiwa Babu, umesema hadi Sifuna aende kwa meza na wengine. Mimi nasema hivi, Sifuna ataenda kwa meza kama presidential candidate. Wangapi wanakubaliana na mimi? Kwa sababu we have reached a point where this region must also produce. Ni wangapi wananiunga mkono? Asanteni sana.
And Otsosi message was very clear, which means Sifuna will be on the ballot. And again, let us look at the implication of this rally on William Ruto's allies from the LUHYA nation. And let us be very specific. Wetangula, Mudavadi, to some extent, Wycliffe Ambetsa Oparanya. If you look at this rally, unless you want to bury your head in the sand, Mudavadi's political career is dead. Weta is being finished. But these are the people who delivered the presidency to William Ruto. Which means at the end of the day, their value on the other side is going to reduce. So which means William Ruto might decide to now go the other side. And the other side is ODM party, in the hope that the ODM structures can still be activated. And that's where now Wycliffe Ambetsa Oparanya is coming in. The question is, can Wycliffe Ambetsa Oparanya be able to tame this group? That is the question. And lastly, we are looking at the opposition game plan for 2027. From this rally, based on the excitement and the way it was charged, I doubt and want to repeat if anybody will persuade Sifuna to bolt out and support someone else. So which means the opposition are going to work on a plan of locking William Ruto based on regions. That's why when Edwin Sifuna was speaking, he was very specific that hapa tuko na Wakisi to mean Matiangi and these people. Hapa tuko na watu wetu wa Wakamba to mean Kalonzo. So at the end of the day, William Ruto is going to be the main opponent. But the question is, will they be able to achieve 50% plus one vote? Swala nyeti hiyo. Until next time, Makwiny.